All right, this might be a little cringe, but here we go. It's time to unleash some autism. So, anyway, I've finished reading caught up with the three comics and two novels of John Dolorosa's Terran Imperium setting. And I just started just chain of thought, trying to think of limitations. I mean, John writes happy, like, fun adventure novels. Doesn't really write autistic space navy novels. But that's kind of what I do here. Anyway, there's two things that really caught up about the setting. First is that there's very fast hyperspeed travel, and there's a long range FTL that's at least accessible to at least major corporations and planets. So, what does that mean for it's like an actual space naval conflict? So that's kind of the thoughts here. So, I mean, this is a setting specifically designed for fun comic books. So cool stuff. So anyway, it's down the list. First logical limit: ships can only be in one place at a time. There's 100,000 inhabited worlds, so a ship is in one spot, and if it's in hyperspace, it's not in action. So this is also true of the Emperor and the special agents. There's only one Emperor; he can only kick one ass at a time. Battleships takes years to build. This is a major thing. Probably take about 3 or 4 years to build a proper battleship. Even the light cruiser probably takes 2 years to build. This is important because the rebels don't have any large ships at the start of the conflict, so they are desperately trying to build larger ships. Next problem: even small ships require trained captains. It's probably the same level of skill to command a frigate as it is to command a battleship. You just don't have as many people under your command, so you don't need to be as much of a leader, but you still need to be a tactician. So, Scorpio Alliance is the main rebel group. Logically, it has large numbers of fast craft corvettes, but most of the crews are poorly trained. Again, the idea is that they're skimping and they're building small ships and just kind of like throwing them on essentially suicide missions. And maybe there's fanatics in that. Again, John hasn't really fleshed out the Scorpio Alliance too much, but they're bad guys, so they do bad guy things. Next, starfighters. We know starfighters exist. They were in one of the comic books, so gain a logical limitation. Large ground crews, because these are small miniaturized components, very high tech, very hard to maintain. So that's the limit on starfighters. But we absolutely have to have starfighters in this universe because it's fun. Large army units are difficult to move and require a great deal of time and effort to organize. Especially true of mecha and heavy armor units. So again, moving armies from planet to planet is very difficult. This is why they have Marines. Marines they go with the fleet and they move around. But again, the Defender would have an advantage. So again, this is why both the Terran Imperium and the various rebel factions place such a heavy focus on special teams, special agents, and commando units. They can be quickly moved around the galaxy. This is also basically the point of the comic books is cool stuff happening. Okay, most Imperial worlds do not have a strong military culture. They've been at peace for 300 years. So this will put an unfair burden on the few worlds that do value military virtues and will at least send their sons to serve the Imperium. So some planets are paying in blood. Others are just kind of sitting on their asses and doing. Okay. The media is liberal, not very bright, and easily subverted. Wait, Wolfman, this is supposed to be science fiction. Well, again, logically, they've been at peace for 300 years. So the media is liberal, even on conservative and reactionary worlds. And of course, there are going to be reactionary worlds in this universe. So, okay, negative news travels at FTL speed. It can demoralize the entire galaxy in a matter of days. So if a really, really bad event happens on one planet, the news can spread all the way around the galaxy. Good news doesn't travel that far, but okay, all the major planets are in communication with each other. That's a lot of radio traffic. So, okay, here's another restriction that might slow down the military hyperdrives require expensive maintenance, so admirals are reluctant to move major ships long distances. Okay, these ships are very, very fast, but we have to put some kind of limitation on them. So maintenance is logical for that. So again, moving ships is quick, but you have to repair you have to do your maintenance on the hyperdrives. Civilians, not so much. But okay. And Admiral Decker, notable exception. Part of the reason he's a boss is because he has the cojones to order ships around. So okay. 10. Most civilian ships are built as cheaply as possible. Many times a little too cheaply. Didn't really need that safety switch on your reactor anyway. So another thought here is that there's going to be a lot of little small packet ships moving a couple people and some mail around. So a lot of like light freighter type hero ships. 11. The few large capable civilian ships, thinking passenger liners or colony ships, are controlled by greedy, lazy corporations not known for their patriotism. Again, the Imperium has been at peace for at least 300 years. Okay, growing unrest and many worlds about the low quality of food that most common citizens can afford. Worlds where working poor can afford eggs and actual moo cow milk are noteworthy, and sometimes tourist destinations. So again, this is just a bit of character. It makes sense. And again, this is not a grimdark setting, but they have problems. Another major problem: the great coffee shortage. There's never enough real coffee, and even the industrially produced substitutes sell out quickly when the working classes get a chance to buy them. So the Navy and those rich assholes on Terra Prime are hogging all the coffee, and this is starting to piss people off. 14. Corporate infighting, espionage, and piracy. Simply keeping the various interstellar corporations from doing dirty tricks on each other is a problem. After all, what's a little morals never get in the way of profit. Okay, 15. Reckless use of technology. Some keywords of the Imperium have access to the same technologies Terra Prime does, and are a lot less careful in how they use them. This could give us rogue special agents. Or who knows, whatever horrible things. Religious infighting. This is more of a joke about the audience John has. So Catholics and Protestants in space picking the worst possible time to start arguing. Okay. You know this is going to show up in the setting at some point. And they should definitely be focusing on demonic bug aliens from another galaxy, but, we got to argue. We got to argue. That's what Christians do. 17. Drugs and alcohol are very cheap and a cause of temptation. Ethanol is not that complicated a chemical, so alcohol can be very, very cheap at this technology level. So planets are also logically different laws and regulations of recreational drugs. I don't know if John's going to do that or have a actual Imperium-wide laws. I don't think he cares about that, but it's a lot of confusion with travelers and profitable opportunities for smugglers because something weed, for example, could be legal on one world and illegal on another world. That creates a smuggling route. Now we know there are pirates and smugglers everywhere. Which brings us to point 18. The sheer number of uninhabited systems means that a few of them are patrolled. Okay, so there's probably about 100,000 inhabited systems, and there's at least there's more stars like that without an Earth-like planet. So it's very easy for smugglers, pirates, or libertarians to build dome settlement on a Mars-like planet or an ice moon and have a useful base of operations. And they can do this again, fast hyperspeed travel. They can just have a day away from a major planet. They have a little smuggler stash there. Okay, so there are all the banded bases everywhere, and you never know when somebody else is just going to move in. 19. No central Imperium culture. Terra Prime culture. There's Terra Prime culture, which spread throughout the galaxy, but it's really only fashionable the government-connected elites. Mainly, they standardize language, but other entertainment and media centers are beginning to rise as Terra Prime media corporations are stale and out of touch with the common citizens. So basically, this is like Hollywood breaking up. That's kind of one way to say it. 20. Everyone has nukes. Everyone. All planetary governments, interstellar corporations, and a few wealthy individuals either have nuclear explosives, or the ability to buy them, or build them on relatively short notice. And again, at this technology level, everybody has nukes. This means that even small rebellions can turn very dangerous very fast. And we know the Scorpion Alliance are a bunch of assholes. 21. There's been no large-scale naval battle in several centuries. Nobody's entirely sure what a battle involving large number of capital ships would look like. It's been 300 years. Ship designs might have changed. I don't know how static the technology is, but there's been no battleship on battleship engagement in 300 years. 22. Information overload. 100,000 planets, all in FDL communication with each other. So very hard to figure out what messages are important and where the serious problems actually are. So there's a lot of static, a lot of noise. It's hard to pick things out. This is why the Emperor This has to be such a badass. 23. Lack of initiative. Again, FTL communication is so widespread, it's tempting for a mid-level leader to simply call their boss and wait for orders. This is a very bad thing for the military. Imperium Navy does everything it can to train this habit of their officers and still has problems with it. So, this is a problem for the military. They know it's a problem. They're trying to deal with it. It's also a major problem for corporations, but they don't really care because they're corporations. Anyway, a couple of other ideas. One thing that has just occurred to me before I wrote this, ships seem to be designed for very short duration missions, like 2 or 3 months. So this is not like, there's not sending out ships in a 5-hour thing. So ships need to resupply constantly. They need to move back to bases. So anyway, I know I went on a bit of a rant here, but that's kind of, I said I'd unleash the autism, and I think I delivered. So Wolfman out. Again, this is all just fan stuff. I'll get back to you guys if anything big happens.